everybody, and welcome to the show for November 20th. Comics news today. We got some interesting things to cover, guys. Very happy to have you all in here. I see Evan Hotep says, I feel welcome. Well, I'm glad you do. That's the intention. We got Roger Heller in here as well. He says, right on. Some great comic news today. I hope so. Son, I feel young now. I feel young. But anyway, guys, definitely check out all our links down below as usual, and please be part of those things. And of course, hit that share button. We are live streamers, so that's what helps us the most. But let me come over here and say hello to the panelists we got today. We got Todd Melrooney, of course, artist extraordinaire, also the guy who put together IndieCom TV, which is a lot of fun. How you doing, Todd?
Oh, I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How is IndieCom TV doing, by the way?
Um, I think we've lost a little bit of steam,
Uh huh.
uh, but you know, we'll see if we can invigorate it with something
Porn?
new. Porn.
No, no,
Yeah, we're
definitely not
going that
porn,
route.
George. No, no, yeah.
Chester, you're the first to be on board, so you might have to bear it all.
But me, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll shave my nipples, make sure it's all good. But
Right.
yeah, no, I like what you're doing with Indicom TV. I think having creators come over and do content is a good idea. Now, I'm not a creator, but having me do a live show, I think is it kind of fits in, But I like it. Hopefully, you'll get more and more people involved in putting stuff out, and that's really the thing is getting people to commit content. That's the challenge, right? I mean, we see that with
hmm
everything, with Indicron, Insider magazine, everything. Everything's like that. But if you guys are interested in throwing some content down on Indicom TV, please do. Just get in touch with Todd or one of the other guys. You could contact me too, and I'll certainly put you in touch with him. But it's fun. We got Timothy Best in here. He says, "Yo, yo, yo." Well, yo, back to you, sir. And of course, guys, we're also joined by George. Now, George, what's our angst meter today? We were purple the other day, and hopefully we'll be some lighter shade.
No, 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 no. If you PayPal me like a couple of $100, I
Uh-huh.
will
uh
promise to be in the green shades.
Then the green shades. Okay, and what happens if I
Yeah,
send you a bill by PayPal? There it is. There it is. See,
I'm
that's
gonna
how it
be
goes.
pretty.
Yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
I'm gonna I'm gonna start making gushing sounds of blood dripping through elevator
Uh-huh.
doors and
Uh-huh.
down the hall and all
Uh-huh.
that stuff.
Yeah, it would have been easier if you just said fuchsia. That's all right. But nevertheless, of course, happy to have you here, George. Happy to have all you guys. And before we get into it, we're going to give it a few minutes just to let that notification catch up or, shares catch up because we know how YouTube is. And of course, YouTube is all in their kind of craziness these days. They've got their kid lockdown thing, and they've got there's a whole bunch of craziness going on YouTube. So we'll see how it lasts. I don't know, Todd. What seems to be the main alternative? Because who knows? YouTube might just shut everybody out for all we know, right? They're going to be taken over by the Chinese, I'm sure. What's a good alternative you think that people in our community are using?
Uh, Based on what we do, I really haven't seen anything yet. Now you can go draw live and do okay on D Live and stuff like that. But bringing news and content that
Uh huh.
isn't like game related and stuff like that, I don't know that there is a place.
Yeah,
It
it's kind of a
almost
problem,
seems,
huh? Yeah.
yeah, it almost seems like each one of them has their specialty,
Uh-huh.
and they also have their little quirks. You know what I mean? Like Steam. Steam is one of the ones that's the most quirkiest, and then I won't even. I took it off my computer because it's like you basically have to buy purchase some things to get going. It's like extortion. We're gonna extort at minimum at least $10 from you,
You mean
and then
Steam
we'll give
Yards?
you.
Is that what you're talking about? Steam Yards?
No, there's just one that's just called Steam. StreamYard is what you could use. What some people are using to have multiple people on, but Steam is its own little place, right?
You're talking about the Valve Game Center thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And it, you know, like I said, they at minimum want $10 from you, and then they'll give you a key. It's really weird.
Well, they are a business for selling video games for sure, and of course,
Right, and you can
yeah,
buy it's a game. They're trying to sell you a game, or they want you to buy a game or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and I just don't see it as a place where we're gonna be welcome.
I see. Well, I should keep it in mind though, because just in case, depending on what happens with YouTube here, because I've been using Steam for since it came out, dude. So I'm well established in the Steam community thingy, you know.
Mhm,
So it wouldn't
mhm,
be no easy, it would be no difficulty for me to transfer into it. But man, of course, I'm using Hangouts or something else to port my people in. So really, it just comes down to what I'm doing. But hopefully YouTube, but I don't know. I wish these companies would just be companies. I mean, make money, please. Right? Just stop with this stupid politics. It's like they're a bunch
uh,
of avenging knights or something. Just be businessmen, like the old corrupt businessmen that want to make every penny. What the hell? What's happened
Well,
to
if
the
you
damn world?
if
they
you
are
set your
businessmen. They are businessmen. They're making every single one who is monetizing their channel working for them. Every single person who's monetized their channel on YouTube is
Yes,
working
George,
for
I
YouTube.
understand that. I get that. But when you restrict yourselves, you push people away and you reduce your overall
They
customer base.
don't care.
That's my point,
They
George.
are the employer. They will delete you like as quickly as
Yes,
they fire someone.
yes, we know, George, but you're missing my point. Anyway, Todd, what's up? What do you want to say?
if you set your channel to adult,
Uh-huh.
you should be fine.
Well,
No,
it
You know,
no, you won't be fined because they will review the channel, and if they deem you as a kid, they will switch you automatically to a kids channel, and then if they come after you, the FCC comes after you, you're screwed, and YouTube has
but
nothing to do with
we
you.
Yeah,
wouldn't be
I'm not really
screwed. He's
worried
not a
about that.
kid.
I'm not a kid,
I
and I'm
mean,
not doing
yeah,
kid stuff.
it's like
But I get the point. There is potential issue for sure, and I think one of the big thing that a lot of people are worried is who is making that judgment. And of course, what they're doing is they're sourcing this out to Indian companies like call center type of companies, and of course, what do they know about the nuance of Americans? You know, or anybody else for that matter, because well, YouTube is of course international, but majority of it is in America, of course, as with everything. But John Dillers is here. Eric Boyd too. Hey, Eric. John Dillers says first and best, thickest and longest. No, George, that's not how it works. Shut up, George. Jeebus.
What? What? Who's this villain who talks such harsh language towards me?
he invoked the baby Jeebus, so watch it. All right.
Is he binary? Is he asymmetrical? Is he a unicorn?
I think he's polyluberant would be the word I'd use for him. I think, but
Well, you know what? Just for using that word, I give it thumbs up. I have no idea what it means. It sounds so cool.
Yeah, well, it just made up on the spot. Nevertheless, guys, awesome. Please do hit that share button, please, and let your family and friends know what's going on, so we can come over here and be with us live if you don't mind. Of course, also hit that subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure you guys all have, so it doesn't really matter. But we have been growing, so that's pretty cool. George getting a dist. Yeah, well, that's kind of his position. Nevertheless.
Just look me up, bitchute.com, or type in bitchute and type in my last name Gatsis, and you'll find my channel. What does even that have to do with the current talk?
I have no idea, George, but I'm going to go over the news now if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
cool.
You got my
I'm doing it.
permission.
I've
Because
been given
Dinale's not around, I have
permission.
to make up for him too.
That's
And Bruce is not
true.
around, I have to make up for him as well.
That's right.
And DeWolf's not around. Jeez,
Well, there you
Todd,
go.
man, come on, man,
You're
pick up the
busy,
slack.
George. Here's the slack. All right. Now, our first story today, of course, is a little bit sad news here. Tony Lyle dies at the age of 66. Now,
Tom, Tom,
sorry, Tom. Did I say Tony? Damn.
yes.
Tom Lyle dies at age 66. Now, of course, I never really read Scarlet Spider. but I know it was a very popular character. And maybe Todd can give us a little information on the character itself. For me, the thing that pops off, as I'm sure with many of you, is that's young, dude. 66 is not old, man. And but he looks like somebody we know, doesn't he? He looks like a
He looks like a guy
celebrity.
from Prager University.
He does. You're right. He looks like Prager. You're right, dude. There you go. Thank you, George. See how helpful he can be. But that's way too young, dude. That's way too young. But Todd, tell us a little bit about his work with Scarlet Spider, because I know that's his main thing, and it was quite a hit. And Scarlet's
Yeah,
like a
that's the
clone or something, right?
clone. Yeah, the Ben
Yeah,
Riley.
yeah.
Ben
And,
Riley, who's uh, back around again. Um, just as I mean, in the last year or so, he's shown his face again in something. But I think it was called Superior Scarlet or something. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, but it's a character that was a clone of Peter Parker, and
mhm.
he had the same powers and stuff. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not a big fan of these type of things, and you know that. It's
Yeah,
what I
no,
call um, your it's sort of an abomination, so to speak.
it
But
is an
it wasn't a
abomination,
bad
but
storyline.
no,
Yeah.
and the thing I have to say about Scarlet Spider, because I've actually read a couple of books on it, so I'm not 100% ignorant on the subject, but I have to say, from all the absolute insanity that has been going on with Spider-Man the past decade, of them just trying to make something more than Peter Parker. I mean, we've seen so many. We've seen Spider Gwen, we've seen the Silk. Well, goodness gracious, there's just so many of them, right? I would say the only one that's this one right here is the one that kind of stuck the most, right? Other than maybe Spider Gwen, which
Mhm.
seems to be at least popular with the cosplayers. But it seems to me that this is the one that has had the most traction, right? Because there's
Yeah.
big time fans of this one, and maybe the Miles Morales one as well. There's a lot of fans of
Right.
that too. Yeah, which I don't mind the Miles one. I just wish they give him another name like this, Scarlet Spider. This is a clone. This is actually is genetically Peter Parker, right?
Hmm.
But they gave him a different name. Well, they should do the same thing with Miles. He should have been Shadow Spider or something like that, right? Or Warp Spider or something. Like I think Shadow Spider would have been a good choice, and he could have become a really loved character because there's a lot of people like myself that we won't even give him a time of day because it's I don't need diversity, Peter. I don't need it, right? And if they just gave him a different name, simply gave him a different name and a different origin, it would have been cool. Although
They
I have,
tried to move him out west, like
yeah.
okay, we'll keep him as a character, and he'll be centrally located, and I think it was Nevada or something like
Right.
that.
Well, it came
You
out of
know,
the Ultimates, right? Which was that Ultimates thing was just a grandiose
no,
Elseworld thing.
he had nothing to do with the Ultimates. He
Yeah,
was
he did,
never.
dude. He came out of Ultimate Spider-Man. He didn't?
No,
Where'd he
nope.
come out
He
of
was
then?
part of he was actually predates ultimate the Ultimate line.
So
It was
where'd he
just a
come out of
storyline.
then?
He came out of the regular Amazing Spider-Man book.
That's impossible. How
Yeah, he
could
did.
he
No,
come out of that when Peter's already there? It doesn't make sense.
he
Because his
he
origin story is the
was
same. It's just a copy of Peter, dude.
no, he was seen as a villain at first, and then
Now I'm not talking
you
about
know.
Scarlet. I'm talking about Miles Morales.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All
I thought
right, I
we're
see what happened.
still
Okay,
talking
yeah, now
about
I got that. I caught that. All right,
Scarlet.
yeah, no, I'm talking about Miles Morales, but Scarlet Spider, yeah, no, he was definitely a villain at first. I actually kind of like his character, his attitude is quite different than Peter. I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of cool. Yeah, and he's this kind of vagabond, almost like you remember the old Hulk?
sanctimonious.
Yeah, yeah. But you remember the
Yeah.
old Incredible Hulk TV show where you had David Banner walking the streets? He kind of has this kind of thing going on, just this vagabond traveling along. At least what I read. Of course,
Hmm.
I'm certainly not deep into it, but nevertheless, we're not. I just want to talk about it a little bit. And thank you very much. The Jackal was involved, right? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this is way too young, man. It's a shame. It's a shame. So condolences to his family and friends, of course, and safe journeys, man. It's It sucks. We get this a lot. We've had a lot of death within the comic book industry this year, man. You know?
There's a if anyone can help or wants to help, there's a GoFundMe. Obviously, when your pursuits are freelance in life,
Yeah.
there's no benefits for you. You know what I mean? You
No.
got to try to. I mean, a lot of these guys. That's why they go from con to con to con because they're trying to not only make some money, but be able to, because as you get older, you have medical bills.
That's right. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, there's no real, as far as being an artist, there's no real retirement.
Yeah.
You don't get that. And and if you're off of the books, like not off the books, but you know what I mean. If you if you struggle a little bit, then it hurts your Medicaid and all that kind of. I mean, that's not a topic here, but you know what I mean. So
No, I
as an
understand
artist,
100%. Yeah.
you struggle, and the way to get by for a lot of these guys is they do prints every year, and they go from con to con. They open their
Hmm.
commission list.
Yeah.
It's really hard to stay relevant when you have a style that gets outdated.
Yeah.
And there's only a few guys that I can point to who continuously change their style to keep themselves relevant and keep themselves working.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
No, it's very true. And comic book guys, whatever aspect of comic book guys, they don't really make a lot of money in the long run. If they're really busy and they're doing a book, or you got a writer's doing a couple, two, three books maybe a month, which is certainly handleable. Sure, they might be making money at that moment, but if you stretch it over a 10-year period, 20-year period, or something like that, these people don't make a lot of money usually. You get a few that hit, like Alex Ross. That guy can make just ridiculous money. There's some of them, but in general, the average artist, writer, colorist that you see and books you love, they don't make much money through their life, and it's tough business, dude. It's tough. The starving artist is still a thing.
yeah,
So yeah, if there's a GoFundMe, and if you like go give him support to his family, make sure he gets a proper funeral and stuff like that. That would be cool. But they must be shocked. I mean, 66 is nothing these days. That's young,
yeah.
man.
Earlier in the summer, early summer, he took you know, had some kind of medical crisis, and
Mm,
this is where I mean, so there was knowledge that he had gotten sick.
yeah, yeah. Well,
I just don't know what it was. I didn't follow it.
that is a general thing, and in your 60s, more than likely you're going to get some kind of medical challenge to your life. It's pretty standard, and if you make it through it, then you're probably good for another 20 years, right? But that's the standard thing. In your 60s, something medically is going to happen to you. Now, in the past, we that was about it, and that's why the average age of death was around 60 to 70, and that's why they put your retirement age at such a high point, because basically you get a year free and you're dead, right? But these days, with a lot of medical and stuff, we're able to kind of get through it, and you can get up into that 80. That's why things have changed. But he basically had an aneurysm, and that's an unfortunate thing. I know. That because it can hit you out of nowhere and boom, right? Like
Hmm.
my wife's father, um, his best friend his whole life, and their families were almost as if they're the same family, right? Brothers and sisters with their kids, and just a very close family over here in Japan. And he just was in a shower one day, had an aneurysm, dropped on the floor, dead, right? Out of nowhere. Big shock to everybody because he wasn't that old. He was only like about this age. It happens, but you know, oh well. I'm just there's been so many that have passed away this year, dude, and I'm kind of wondering if it's kind of an age group that we're losing, or I never really paid attention to this level like I do with the YouTube every day, so maybe I just wasn't aware. I don't know. But sad news, dude. Sad news. Let me check out the chat real quick. Chester's an Indian. Yeah, I get it. Okay, that's pretty standard. Let's see. Eric says, "Oh no. Do you know why the TV Hulk was David instead of Bruce? The network thought Bruce was too gay a name." Well, I kind of agree. But then again, I bring up Exhibit A, Bruce Campbell, the Chin himself. Yes. Uh, just Steve Butler was involved with the Scarlet Spider for some time, doing the artwork. He made 100% certain to give Tom Lyle credit today. Sweet, dude. That is awesome. It's glad to hear. And like I said, I know that Scarlet Spider is one of the more popular Peter spin-offs. I know that. Um, yeah, when my comic funded, and I started doing a show, people asked if I was going to quit my job. Heck no, I need to pay bills. Yeah, no, there's very few people in any kind of artistic endeavor. There's few people that can truly make a living at it. It's usually coming in and out, or there's like a one-hit wonder type of thing. It's difficult. The artistic world, whether it be making sculptures or coloring comic books, it's a difficult road. It's a difficult road. This is why we have universities and trade schools, and we have a thing called career, right? That's why your mom tells you be a doctor because there's consistent money there, right? Nevertheless, let me move on. But sad news, man. Now today mainly because Dinale's kind of out of commission, as you guys know. He's sick, and hopefully he's doing better. We're looking forward to him coming back. Of course, he's our news guy, and of course we love Dinale. But well, basically, Samli is handling the news today mainly. This is all his stuff. And thank you very much to our Finnish friend. Now he likes the splintering, but I'm sure many news outlets cover the same things. But this is kind of interesting. I'm glad I got Todd here and George. Actually, they're these two artists, because I know I've heard Todd talk about Coffin Comics. So yeah, Coffin Comics Hell Witch, the Forsaken graphic novel banned by printer. Now, first of all, tell me a little bit about Coffin Comics, Todd, please.
Oh, Coffin Comics is Brian Polito,
Yep.
and he's really kind of figured out this crowdfunding thing. Created a mailing list. He's got a lot of consumers. Caters to them, fan service kind of thing where um, he certainly is using analytics to figure out which covers do the best.
Hmm.
Keep giving them more because he always has, and he throws in a lot of extras. Right, here's a guy who's taking his money that he's making, realizing I got something good.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to give stuff back, and he might slip you things in there in your order randomly and give you a bunch of cool things like a lenticular cover or whatever. So he doesn't try to overdo it. Like, okay, each cover I'm going to do a new campaign. No, he when it hits certain goals, he'll add these covers, and then in other campaigns, because he's already had to print them, he'll overprint them and he'll slip them into other campaigns. So he's got a random way of doing this,
Hmm.
and he's always giving you some more bang for your buck. And I think that really pleases people, that they feel like, you know what, I'm not I'm part of helping support this guy make a living, but I'm also not his mortgage. You know what I mean? It's like I don't. He's doing this, and he's doing things for you. You get what I mean? There's sort of this, and not to point out anybody who I think is doing it wrong or whatever. It just, I think he's one of the guys that's doing it right.
I think so
You
too.
know?
He's found his niche for damn sure, dude. Lady
Right.
Death is a consistent moneymaker. It's one of the things that has been on Kickstarter for a very long time, and he consistently makes just money, right? So good for him. Good on him for that, right? But this right here is kind of interesting story. And real quick, Eric, he says, "Ouch, Chester. Are you saying us being artists isn't a career? Dang, that's cold blooded, man. Cold blooded. Come on, Todd. Agree with me." Um, well, no, and yes. The word career, it comes from the Frankish language, and what it means is to run a course or to quickly move a course. It's actually used to talk about the moving of the sun across the sky through the day. So what it means is consistency. So no, sorry. Anyway, Over the weekend, Coffin Comics founder and Lady Death creator Brian Pulido announced that their upcoming graphic novel, Hell Witch the Forsaken, has been unceremoniously dropped by the printer. What? According to Pulido, which you assume he's been with his printer a while, the printing company took issue with some of the mature imagery in the book. Well, it's freaking Lady Death, and requested that Coffin Comics and Co. Either revise it or remove it altogether. Polito refused. Of course he did. Good on you, sir. For those familiar with Coffin Comics and their Lady Death universe, this may seem like an odd situation. Coffin books are frequently adult oriented. I wouldn't say frequently, I'd say always. Choke full of mature themes, including sex, the occult, and extreme violence. So, why the printing company choose to push for artistic changes now is a question only they can answer. It
Well,
is
right, because they
bizarre,
shouldn't
dude.
have. It's wicked bizarre. They have
No,
no
no, no, no.
right.
It's not. If Brian Polito is using a Chinese printer, it goes through the scrutiny of the government, and if they don't like it, they can
Well,
just
that is
refuse the work.
true. That is true, George. But my assumption is that unless he somehow shifted printers, and you think they would tell us this in this article, because he's been doing this for quite a while, and it's always super mature. So maybe the company, with your theory, if the company was bought by a Chinese company, maybe that's true, because the Chinese are, everything goes through the government. So I don't know about that, George. It's bizarre, dude. It's bizarre. He'll find another printer. Trust me, there are a bunch of printers with their hands up right now that are like, "We'll do it for damn sure," because every time he drops a crowdfunder, he makes money. This guy is the freaking blueprint for making money with crowdfunding. He is. That's the calculation of success inside of this endeavor, right? So it'll work out, I'm sure, but it is bizarre news, dude. So who knows? I wish they had found out. See, now if you were actual reporter, who is this? Blake Worrell. If you were an actual reporter, you would dug in and find out, give us a more of at least an idea of why this happened. But you didn't. You didn't. Yeah, and this is a problem. This is a sad thing with today. We see hardly any journalism, man. Oh goodness. Brian Polito also puts back into the community. He has backed 83 projects himself. I always get updates of him backing stuff. Yeah, no, that's true. No, he is. You're right. That's absolutely true. I didn't even think about that. But it doesn't matter. This will get worked out very quickly, I am sure. But it is bizarre news. But it's nice to be able to talk about Lady Death. Now, me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Lady Death personally. I guess for that type of genre thing, maybe I'm more of a Red Sonja or maybe a Witchblade. I don't know. Witchblade has its good points and its bad points. What about you guys? Is there any overly sexed, brutal barbarian woman, violent chick that you like?
No, Lady Death is good for me. I had Evil Ernie #1,
Uh huh.
and I fell in love with the concept since.
I see. What about you, Todd?
Um, Geez, I don't know.
Yeah, I think some Red Sonja for me is probably more over my life the most consistent, brutal woman, type of sexualized character for me.
I
Now,
have. I think I've said this before on the show. Exactly, is I've owned some of these things but never read them. So a lot of times I'd buy. Like there was a point in my life where I was like, oh, speculating and maybe buying things just out of that's a cool cover. And I remember doing some sample pages for Evil Ernie when they were looking for artists and stuff.
uh
So I had these for other reasons, but I don't have a clue, one iota of a clue what Lady Death is all about. If she has a power or not, I don't have a freaking
yeah, I
clue.
don't either. I've certainly seen the imagery, and I think that's what's coming up to me because I've actually read a lot of Red Sonja. I mean, read it, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
Vampirilla, for instance. Some of the most amazing, sexy lady art I've ever seen. Just stunning. But I've never read a Vampirilla comic book. Right? I mean,
Hmm.
it is what it is. But there's a lot of fans of it, and good on you, guys. And I hope he keeps having success because, you know, Eric says Peter Samedi just had to change printers too. He had been receiving 30% of his orders damaged and misprinted for months. Yeah, well, Eh, that's a whole nother conversation, isn't it? And I do agree with you, Eric. At least provide the name of the printing company Polito was using, right? I mean, I bet you, I don't know 100%, but I bet you I could spend an hour and have had more and would have more information in this article than this person. Because I certainly would have went and found the printing company name. I would have looked in to see if they were in receivership, or I would have done something, just to check it out. Just Wikipedia Wikipedia it, right? But I don't know, whatever. Eric says I agree. Red Sonja is more my flavor. Lady Death looks great, but never grabbed my interest. Yeah, yeah, it's okay though. Uh, but Red Sonja is certainly interesting. Moving on though. Ooh, more comic book stuff. That's a good thing with taking Samali's news. He's always putting comic book stuff up. A modern day Western saunters in with Undone by Blood or The Shadow of a Wanted Man. Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to read through the article here real quick, but just show off some of the art. Now, Todd, tell me something, please, George as well, if you have an opinion on it. You see this female character down here. Okay. Now she's got this shape to her shoulders and the a touch of a hourglass, meaning showing she's younger, and her head's a little bit bigger, which of course makes her even seem younger. But this style of this kind of shorn, slightly oversized head, I don't know what to call it. This is an artistic style that I see.
Adolescence.
That's just how you do adolescence. That's just all. That's It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I see this a lot. This girl here is such a common image in so many comics. It's recognizably common, right? But it looks good though. Look at this over here though. Look at that. I like this. I like this. The color, the coloring is really making this interesting to me, and it feels like the Midwest too with the color tone. That's beautiful. I love how the blue is coming. And this is really well colored, I think. What do you think, Todd?
Um, yeah,
I like it,
it's
dude.
it's a little European to me.
Oh, damn that damn Europeans. Oh, look at that. I kind of
Oh, it's
like it though,
good.
dude. I like it.
It's just different, you know.
Yeah,
What
it's
is this?
colored but not colored in a way.
Right.
Mm, I
It's called
like
it's
it.
called a wash.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. What is this book called?
This book is called "The Undone by Blood" or "The Shadow of a Wanted Man." Yeah, I'll go ahead and read through it here, and I was just kind of looking at the cool art. But anyway, writer Lonnie Nadler and Zach Thomas are returning to Aftershock Comics and bringing a western with them. Scheduled to debut February 12th. Oh, nice. "Undone by Blood" or "The Shadow of a Wanted Man" follows a young woman named Ethel who is out for revenge. Ooh, that sounds unique. Uh, a year before the book begins, her entire family was murdered while passing through the town of Sweetheart, Arizona. After feeling like the police have done nothing, well, if you give me a time frame and I can balk at the use of the word police, maybe, have done nothing, Ethel returns to Sweetheart with a revolver in her hand to make things right, explained Thompson in a statement. She has no idea who she's looking for, but she's determined to find the man who killed her family. Her quest for revenge is fueled by the novel she's reading, Shadow of a Wanted Man, an old school pulp western about a famed gunslinger, Solomon Eaton. Saul is the second lead of the book as we follow his own personal quest for revenge alongside Ethel's. All right, well, boy, that is so generic. I mean, that's like ultra generic. But that doesn't mean it won't be interesting. Uh, and it looks like they're on a bus, so so police is an appropriate word. So it's kind of a throwback. It's more set in a more modern time, but it's kind of going back to a western feel. So that's interesting because that bus right there looks like it's could be 50s or 60s maybe. I don't know. but then
No,
again,
that
this
looks like an '80s or '90s Greyhound bus.
you think,
It
and
can't
this
be.
bike
Yeah,
right here
because
is definitely.
the older buses have like a bell curve to them.
Well, I couldn't see the front. Yeah, no, you're right though. But this bike is definitely 70s though, with those curl down handlebars on the 10 speed. But it's interesting. Lou Reed. All right, rock on. I like the art though, dude. But it's just this is a little bit more. I don't know what's going on with that damn road, where the hell that thing's going. That's definitely not well drawn. And this coloring on this one seems almost. This doesn't. This coloring is not as good as this one, or especially these up here. I love this. This is maybe a flashback, is why it's a little more washed out, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys are interested. Keep your eye open for it, though. And of course, this is coming from Aftershock Comics. Can you tell me a little bit about Aftershock Comics, guys? Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, they do. They have a couple books that have reached past number like 12 and stuff, but they try to do things in sort of mini series or series. There was a couple. I think it was like like the Rough Riders, right? Theodore Roosevelt and the Rough
Right,
Riders or something.
right, yeah.
And they did a few 6-issue series. Um, they pair. As far as an artist, I know that they like to pair you. So if you send them submissions, they don't just say, "Oh, we will put you on a book." No, they show you off to a writer, and if the writer thinks your style is fit for what they're writing, then they'll pair you two together.
Mm,
So that's how they do their submissions over there. I know that much. And they've had Garth Ennis, they've had some really good writers do books. I don't know that they sell very well because they don't have a huge budget. But the company began from Mike Martz. Mike Martz had gone throughout the industry, sort of jumping around. He started as an assistant editor
mhm.
at Marvel, went back and forth, went over to help at Valiant with Fabian Nicienza, and then uh, Jimmy Palmiotti helped him out again, got him back at Marvel, and eventually he ended up being the line editor when they fired Bob Harris. So
Uh,
Mike Martin took over the X-Men line, and then later on in his career, he found himself starting his own little thing. And they have some good books, but I don't read anything that they put out.
mm.
I just know they have some books that have become sort of hits and may have a couple of them been optioned for movie rights. So that much I know, but it's definitely different. They don't do anything superheroes. They don't have any. Well, they did try some superheroes. It was what's the guy's name from Tribe? Larry
Mm.
Stroman and somebody. They paired up Larry Stroman and somebody, and they debuted one superhero book. I forget the freaking name of it, but it's all mostly genre books, horror,
Yeah.
sci-fi, like here's a western and stuff like that. But
Well,
they don't.
to be fair though, superhero comics are starting to get outnumbered, dude. They really are. I certainly hope we don't see a loss of them, but I actually don't mind it. I think the medium, the graphic novel, the comic book medium, is useful for anything. You can tell any story you want. It doesn't have to be superhero. And I think a lot of people are proving that point to the Western audience. Now, of course, the Europeans and the Asians, they've known this for a long time. But the American audience, we're very much superhero oriented. So I'm actually happy to see it, dude. And Eric says those washed out pages are probably visuals when she is reading the old pulp western. I think you're right, dude. Think you are. Eric Boyd says Chester Busby, bicycle seat sniffer. Now, sir, have you not known me long enough to understand that I go straight to the source, baby? Right? Anyway, next. Now, this is interesting to me. I'm going to go through and see what the guys think, see what you guys think in the chat as well. But because the last I heard, the reason why it's interesting, because the last I heard, I think IDW has the GI Joe stuff right now, right? Or is that Image?
Say
Hmm.
again.
I
What?
said that I think it's IDW that has the GI Joe license, right?
I said yes, that is
Yes.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, we know the big debacle that happened last year with I can't remember his name, but that idiot who was saying all those stupid, SJW things,
Audrey
and
Sister.
yeah, that
No,
friggin' it.
Audrey Sister. Something like that.
Yeah, some
Yeah, he's
Audrey.
writing.
Yeah.
He's writing under another name where the letters are all there. It's like Sean something. Oh, I shouldn't have told you guys that.
Uh oh. No, why? No, definitely. Well, so his name is Aubrey Sitterson, and
Yeah, yeah.
he's an absolute jackass.
He's a complete jackass
Yeah.
who's now been sort of banned by everybody and now writing under a different name.
Yeah, well, you get what you put out, right? But the reason I mention it is because I'm pretty sure he's the dude that took Snake Eyes and was all offended that some white boy was using Asian ninja techniques and decided to bring in
Mhm,
a real Asian to just kick his ass and drop him. Got to deal with his Snake Eyes once again, just like the Iron Fist stuff that came out with the TV show on Netflix. Complete
mhm,
missing of the whole damn point. It is the fish out of water story. You moron, right?
mhm.
So I'm happy to see that we have a GI Joe Snake Eyes movie coming out because I mean, come on, if you're a kid my age, GI Joe was awesome, and Snake Eyes was the ultimate awesome. I mean, he was the awesome sauce that was G.I. Joe, right? We love Snake
Right,
Eyes. And that's why Sitterson got himself in so much trouble because he was picking on the wrong dude, right? You want to go after
right.
Shipwreck? You go ahead. You go get Shipwreck. But you don't go after Snake Eyes, right? I mean, come on.
No, definitely. That's
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah, he was, right? And for the absolute wrong reasons. But, excuse me.
There's a few franchises. In this, remember we had the show with Arthur about like your childhood, what harkens you back to your childhood, and what influences you to buy comics and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Well, there's a few franchises that I would draw in a heartbeat. Wouldn't matter the page rate, whatever. It didn't matter. I would draw GI Joe. I would do some Star Trek for a little bit, and Johnny Quest.
Oh yeah, no, Johnny. I'd love to see a Johnny Quest revival, dude. Because I
Yeah.
think that we see a lot of really dumb stuff for kids these days. I mean, and once again, we all kind of point toward, the Steven Universe as far as the art quality, but I think it even started a little bit earlier with like say Ren and Stimpy. Now I know Ren and Stimpy had some clever stuff. I get that, but it's also freaking brain dead, dude. It's straight up brain dead. And the kids these days, they don't have any real moral compass in their cartoons. This is the thing that used to be really big with cartoons, and I think it was mandated actually that you had to teach children some moral lesson, right? And it's a good medium to do it in, right? A consistency, a cultural consistency of morality. Yeah, and look how inconsistent the morality is across our country right now, and I kind of wonder why, because we know a lot of parents are very busy and they're wrong, but they use the TV as a babysitter. We know this these days. We could say they use the internet, the tablets and stuff, and they're wrong. They shouldn't do that. That is wrong. But if that is the fact, which it is, then the people in charge should take advantage of that situation and try not only to sell your stuff, I get it, but also to kind of put a moral consistency across the culture, right? And they used to understand this very clearly. I mean, G.I. Joe is a perfect example of that, right?
Hmm.
And they just don't have it, man. So it's cool they got a movie. I'm going to read here and see if it's a live action or animated, but it's just they're really lacking this these days, Ed
Hmm.
Chester with another insane hot take. Is it insane or a hot take? I don't even really know what that means. Excuse me. Oh, good. I wish this cold would go away. Speaking to entertainment, Ireland. That's the homeland of my mama. G.I. Joe Snake Eyes star Henry Golding. I don't know who that is. Confirmed that the movie will indeed be a reboot to the G.I. Joe live action movie franchise. Well, there you go. All right. Snake Eyes is absolutely insane. Phenomenal conception of Robert Schweden Schwetke and everybody at Paramount. It is the origin story, and we're rebooting G.I. Joe as everybody knows it, starting fresh and giving it much more of a storyline and a character-based kind of story to really kick things off. Now, gee, I don't really know if we need an origin, but oh well. Elaborating further, the actor says, give it a heart. I think giving it a heart. I think it's what's most important. Sure, especially with a character that is so beloved and so mysterious in many ways. Therefore, I mean, an origin. Then was never able to sort of express himself. Of course not. So this is the first time where I think that people will sort of be drawn to Snake Eyes as a character rather than a weapon. Okay, so all I need to do then is I need to do this. Okay,
You need to do what?
Henry Golding. I need to figure out who this dude is.
Do you know Rob Liefeld is supposed to do a Snake Eyes miniseries?
You
He's
mean
been talking.
in the comic?
Yeah, yeah, a comic. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh wow, great. He's an Asian. He tricked me with his name. He's Indonesian. Oh, come on. Come on.
he's gonna play Snake Eyes. What's wrong with him?
Snake Eyes is a white dude caught in Japan, having to survive the system on the street. Japanese man took him in and trained him. Da, da, da. Snake Eyes. He's not Asian.
So,
He's
so it's clear
super
that they're
white.
not looking under, they're not looking under the mask, or getting in depth into the details of the property.
Is this? Let me check this again. He's a Malaysian English actor. I don't have a problem with that. Let me just make sure here because that's just is more nonsense. Yep, nope. There he is. Yep. Yeah, the bastards, dude. Now I suppose if they left him in the mask the whole time, it'd be fine. But you know they won't. You know they won't. God, these people. The hell's wrong with them, man? Anyway, God, that pisses me off now. Let me come and cover these other things before I come back to what I want to end with today. Noah Hawley is directing the next Star Trek film. Now, let me just get through this real quick, and then we'll have the conversation I think we really need to have. I am so triggered, Eric. Yes, I know. At last, Paramount has found a suitable candidate to helm the Enterprise crew's next interstellar adventure. Have you? Have you really? The Hollywood Reporter brings word that the studio has tapped Noah Hawley to direct Star Trek 4. Hawley is best known for his work in television. Ooh, a television guy. He achieved mainstream success on FX when he created the Fargo TV series, which is pretty good, in 2014. 3 years later, he followed this up with the X Men adjacent series Legion, which is pretty good, which also aired on FX. Hawley made his feature directorial debut earlier this year with Lucy in the Sky. Haven't seen it, which he also co wrote. He was also attached to write and direct a Doctor Doom standalone film for 20th Century Fox before Disney absorbed the studio's IP. All right. Well, there you go. According to Star Trek 4 is expected to feature Chris Pine as James Kirk. Really the whole cast is in such a disarray. Zachary Quinto as Spock. All right, you got him back, I guess. And Zoe Saldana. Why? Why? Uhura is always a background character. Why is she involved in everything? She's everywhere. She's got to be everywhere. She's got an opinion. Friggin'. Pine's return is somewhat surprising. Last year, Pine and franchise co-star Chris Hemsworth reportedly opted out of the film for over salary issues. Of course they did. But unfortunately, it sounds like these have been resolved. Really? THR also notes that the new film is separate from the Star Trek film that Quentin Tarantino is currently developing. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. I'm not reading any more of this. First of all, what I'd like to see is no more of this nonsense because it's not Star Trek. It sucks balls. The last one was certainly the best of the three, but this is such a mess. The cast is such a mess. It's unfortunate about Quinto because he does look perfect for Spock, but he's not Spock, you know. And of course, Uhura again, once again, you miss. It's a story of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. That's the story. Everything else is side, right? But gotta have one of every color, and you gotta have that lady up in there. Gotta have it. What me personally, I'd rather see from reading this article, I'd rather see this Holly dude make a TV show because his Fargo was excellent, and the
Hmm.
Legion was also excellent. Just make it a TV show and recast the damn thing. That's what I think we'd all love to see. Give us a TV show again, because to be fair, the Star Trek cinematic universe, it's a lot of hits and misses, guys, a lot. But the TV shows have always been very consistent. Even people don't seem to be a big fan of Enterprise, but I love this. It's actually one of my favorite. But am I right or wrong? I mean, screw this damn J.J. Abrams verse. Screw it. Let's just go back to a TV show, and this guy's sounds like a wonderful choice to me because I love his content. Any comment?
Yeah, I did. No, I did like Fargo. There was
Yeah,
and it was different every season, right?
it
It
was.
wasn't,
Yeah, yeah.
you didn't have any returning characters and things like that. It was just a
Very solid.
different,
Very solid.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? That makes for really good television when y- you get a a beginning, middle, and end. How many television series, you know, you're hanging on by a thread waiting for a certain thing to happen and you never really get there. And then the next thing you know, it's canceled and they
Mhm.
give and you might not have got the end that you were looking for. But Fargo wasn't like that. And it's tried now and again. I remember there used to be a show called The Gun, and it just was a story of the gun, where the gun went, whose hands it ended up
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
One time it was even in a car, and so you just had the point of view of the driver and stuff, just really creative stuff. And you're right, maybe this would be better as a TV
Yeah.
series. I know you don't Discovery and stuff like that, but the amount of money that you watch Discovery as far as eye candy goes, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, everything
Oh yeah. No, Discovery was
that you
beautiful. That
want.
is for damn sure. Yeah.
Right, so everything that you'd want and what you're looking for on how a TV series would look for Star Trek now is there. So
Well,
imagine if you did do something that
we
was
could
kind
have
of.
a conversation on that. I think it. But no, I'm not going to complain about the visuals. I think there's argument to be had that it's not very Star Trek visually. But I agree. It was beautifully produced, and that's what makes it all the more sad, Todd. Is because the acting is so hit and miss across the board, and the worst thing with Discovery, by far the worst thing was the writing, dude. It just plot hole after plot hole. They're not even paying attention to their own damn story, dude. I mean, it's outrageous. And one of the good things about Star Trek has always been the drama. Star Trek has always had very good storylines, lots of drama, and very solid acting. I mean, think of who's the worst actor you have seen on a Star Trek show, right? It's not very bad when you compare it, right? Because I mean, you got DS9, which is ultimately probably the best written Star Trek of all time. Deep Space Nine, right? Whether
Mhm.
whether it's your favorite or not, that thing was written. They writ the hell out of that, man. That thing was really, really well done. Star Trek has had some great, great things over the years. Discovery is a thorn in the side of it, and but this guy is a great storyteller. This guy, he's a really good
Mhm.
storyteller. If you haven't seen Legion and Fargo, dude, go check that out. Right? Yeah, Whoopi. Yeah, well, yeah, but even Whoopi served her role really well. Damnation,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
she did, dude.
It wasn't
Um,
over. They didn't overdo Whoopi. Come on, that was
no,
just a very clever role.
yeah,
She had lived a very long time, seen some things.
hmm
She had a very huge grudge against the board.
she was
All that
bartender.
really, yeah, all that
Yeah,
really fit into,
yeah. No, Whoopi
as
was
a very
great.
subtle,
Yeah.
very nice nuance to the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand Whoopi's actually lost her damn mind, like so many of these other lefties. But if you think about it, Whoopi is pretty solid in everything she does, dude. Uh, you know, growing up as a kid, I thought Snake Eyes worked for Cobra and Storm Shadow worked with GI Joe. Right? Well, yeah, that's true. Um, Eric says Henry Ewing Golding. is a Malaysian English actor. Is Mode. He is best known for playing the role of Nick Young in Crazy Rich Asians. That's not a show I'd even step anywhere close to knowing the name of. Eric says Snake Eyes is a white blonde haired American served in Vietnam with Tommy Storm Shadow, and when his family died, he moved to Japan. Was that it? I thought he was raised by the Japanese dude. Anyway, I'm so triggered. Hey, what about Scotty? Dang it, Chester. Montgomery Scott. I'll give her all I can, Captain. Well, dude, we love Scotty. We love her. We love all the side characters. But you know as well as I do, it is Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. That's the story. That's your team, right?
The other day I got some insight into Hollywood
Uh-huh.
uh, from somebody, and you know how the actors like to go, "Wow, they're all these Marvel movies. No, they're making it so there's no place for movies that we like to do."
Hmm.
And here's the thing: the movies that are getting done, like Tarantino's movie, he writes his own movies. A lot of directors write their own movies, and those movies are getting made. All the other writers in Hollywood are chasing franchises because that's where the money is. So it's really not the studios that are just putting out big budget movies. It's all these writers are hanging around trying to get a piece of, because you can get a credit and get a lot of money for just writing, just tweaking a script. And that's basically a script is written and it's rewritten by three or four other guys along the
Hmm.
way, and then it finally gets greenlit and it's a movie. So all these writers that live in that area and write for movies are just chasing franchises right now. It's like a shark pool,
Oh yeah, it's a
and
racket, dude. It's a racket.
actors
Yeah.
are making it seem like it's the studio's fault. It's not. You're the material that's written well, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever that movie's name was. It got
Hmm.
made because it was a good movie, and
Sure.
people liked it.
Well,
Even bad
yeah.
movies. Ad Astra was written by the director. you know, and that's a terrible. I don't know if you've seen that movie. That's a terrible movie.
Which one? Say it again.
Ad Ad Astra with a what's his name there? Who's
Uh,
thought of the
I
most.
I saw it listed on Netflix, and I kind of just watched the little mini trailer, and I was like, nope, that
Yeah,
automatically
it's
felt wrong. Yeah. But
so
yeah.
there is something going on in Hollywood, but
Oh yeah.
it's not the studio's fault. It's really they make big blockbusters because they make their return. What do you want them to do? You want them to make Merchant Ivory films? They're just not going to anymore. They don't make the return.
Well, here's the thing with Hollywood and the celebrity world in general, Silicon Valley, all of them. Um, if they were honest, which they're not, they're completely dishonest, the lying bags of shit. I mean, that's what they are, just like most of the politicians we have to deal with. I mean, how embarrassing is it to be an American right now? But the thing with these Hollywood types is basically what they're telling us is we don't like it. Trump's not one of us. He's not doing what we want. You put our people in, or we're just going to throw our tantrum forever. That's what they're doing. And if they were more honest and say, look, we're going to give you guys shit until you put a person in charge that we want to do what we want. If they that's because that's
Mhm.
what they're doing. That's what it is. Even if some of them might not even understand the delusion that they've fallen into, that's what it's all about. It's wah. That's exactly what's happening, right? And it's affecting everything across the board. It's shocking, but it basically they're throwing a tantrum, right? And
Yep.
the reason why the tantrum gets worse and worse and worse is because Trump become everything he does turns out gold. He's successful. He wins, 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 wins. And every time they try to get him, he wins again. And it just makes him more and more insane. That's all we're seeing is a giant tantrum across the board, and it's not going to stop until where they get what they want, or we basically shut them down and put them on the street like all the other homeless in California. Right? That's the reality of what we're dealing with. And oh well. And yes, Damnation, I'm well aware that Rob Liefeld is doing a Snake Eyes comic, and I might well check it out. But you guys know how I feel about Rob. I'm sure he's a wonderful human, but damn, that guy can't draw, dude. Exactly right about tantrums of Hollywood Chester. Yeah, no, it's what it is, dude. It's all a bunch of tantrum. They can't believe they can't get their way. And it's all these little kids that someone told them they were special since they were little. Oh, you're so special. You don't have to do anything. You're so special. When the rest of us realize that you have to bust your ass to be special, dude. It takes a lot of work to be special at even kind of special at one thing, right? And this is one of the problems we have because we're seeing a drop in quality everywhere because they're not working for it. I mean, you have to work for it, dude. You have to. And the funny thing is, your life is a short thing, right? We're looking at 80 years these days. If you pretty much can get in that 80-year period. But you need to spend nearly half of it. I'd say 35, 40 years. If you get out of school and bust your butt for 20 years, you can put yourself in a good position. You can. But you got to put that 20 years in, right? It just is what it is, man. And these kids these days, these people, they're just lazy ass, man. George is special, but a different way. That's right, Eric. All right. This is our last story of the day. No, it isn't. Did I? Oh God, yes. I don't want your crap. Stop it. Yes, yes. Stop it. Okay. Todd Phillips is officially developing a Joker sequel. Nice. Money follows money. So at least this, all this article is doing is making it official. It doesn't give us any information. Of course, we have no information. But the thing that I thought was cool about it is that they did make it official because we know that Joaquin Phoenix here has done something recently that is very uncharacteristic for him because he doesn't like to do sequels. We know he's this big auteur, artistic guy. It is what he is, and he doesn't do that. But he has been actually memeing out Joker 2 himself. So we already knew something was coming. Of course, the money they made, why wouldn't they? But it's nice that it's official. What do you think, Todd, about the official announcement of Joker 2?
Um, I haven't seen the first one,
Me
so
either.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's cool. I'm really no, that's smart. I really didn't. I'll be honest. When I heard, oh, we're gonna do a villain movie, I was like, oh Jesus, is this a good idea, bad idea?
yeah,
But it
yeah,
really wasn't a villain movie like I was thinking. It really had nothing. It's not a world full of superheroes at all. They tied it in very smartly by showing you
hmm,
um, uh, Bruce's father and stuff like that, and a young Bruce. Very smart,
yeah,
very really good. That makes it a DC movie because it easily could have been a very topical movie to our time because we've seen some really strange things going on, right? Shootings in theaters and things like that. So
sure,
it didn't have to be. It could have as easily been the King of Comedy too, right? Because I know you never saw the King of Comedy, the first one, but it could have as easily been a sequel to that. So that's really smart, and now you have a hit and you have some momentum, and then now smartly tie it in. Make
yeah,
it even more
yeah.
tied in, you know?
I hope so. And Batman lends itself to that. You can do Batman stories without any supernatural aspect at all. You don't need it at all. Of course, Christopher Nolan showed us this, and you can get away with it. But the funny thing about it is, we've heard a lot of Scorsese, Coppola, people like that complaining about these Marvel movies, and I kind of get it because basically you're shutting down the cinema to anything else. But the thing is, the cinema itself is shutting down these amazing TVs we have these days, or these streaming service, it's killing the cinema. It's going to absolutely tear it apart. What in the
The
end? What?
only
Huh?
the only point they have is how many dates those companies pick. Like Marvel goes ahead
Yeah.
and forecasts the dates they want, and they go,
Huh.
"Oh Jesus, we're not going to go up against that." We're not going up against their blockbuster. So it
Hmm.
does. Therein lies the only thing where they're really pushing out
Yeah.
the ability for other movies to get made because they don't want to go up against them.
That's right.
Like we might do better if there was an opening there and there was no superhero movie to go up against. So there's a it's a way of thinking, and
Sure.
Hollywood's always done like that.
Well, but
Well,
yeah,
on the flip side, you could put out your student film the same day as episode 9 comes out.
yeah.
It'll probably make a good bit of change.
Yeah, a couple grand at least. But What my argument is the fact that I think cinema is going to go to a, boutique model is what I'm thinking,
Hmm.
has Marvel hastened that? Probably, so I get their argument, but at the same time, the juxtaposition of that comment is this: do keep in mind, do not forget that Martin Scorsese was the one who was initially tagged to make the Joker, right? And then he left the project, and then the other guy came in. And that's the funny thing to me, because he originally was the dude who was supposed to make this movie, but yeah, he's coming and bad mouthing him again. It's just funny to me, right? Because it's like, which side of your face should I be paying attention to, Mr. Scorsese? But I think it's cool. I have to see the movie. Damn it, I really want to see it. But I'm happy for him. Good for you, to Todd Phillips, and yeah, awesome, dude. But let's move on. We're a little over our time, but I have one more story I really want to get to, because I left it for last because it's the most exciting to me. Whew. This is from Bloody Disgusting, and it says epic fantasy horror novel series, the Elric Saga, acquired for television adaptation. Oh, baby, please do not do what they're doing with The Witcher. Please, God, give me Elric. Do not make him female. Do not make him black. I swear to God. I swear to God. I will find I will find weapons of mass destruction. But Oh, I love Elric, dude. I love Elric. So for me, this is cool news. Back in 1961, of course, Michael Moorcock introduced Elric of Melniboné in the novella The Dreaming City, and he would go on to become the main protagonist in the multi-story epic collectively known as the Elric Saga. Retorted by Deadline today, the fantasy horror series has been acquired by New Republic Pictures' Brian Oliver and producer Bradley J. Fisher. The plan, to first turn the saga into a television series with Glenn Mazzara, The Walking Dead, okay, all right, and Vaughn Wilmot, Star Trek Discovery, on board to adapt the novels. Deadline describes the novels are sensual. And atmospheric sword and sorcery chariot tales that center on the title character, a brooding albino warrior king. Thank you very much. Who presides over a unruly, decadent island nation. Okay, well, okay, you covered it. The novels follow Elric on a series of adventures in which he is betrayed by his cousin, sent into exile, and attempts to come to terms with his own humanity. Oliver and Fisher are now tasked with shopping the small screen project around. All right. I'm going to let you guys all say what you think about it. But I'm very excited. I love Elric. It's one of my favorite story characters, actually. And just a quick kind of thing out here. We know Roy Thomas did a lot of the Eldrick, especially the earlier collections of the work together after Moorcock. And Roy Thomas is one of those unheralded people. Is a great, great comic book guy. And if you don't know Roy Thomas, you should check him out and learn more about him. But I have to say that Titan Comics, is a French company, has come out with a redo, a complete redo, artistic redo of them, and they are stunning, dude. They are stunning, 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 stunning. It just here's a page. Let's take a look. They're really, really well done, and I suggest that you check out the Titan stuff. Um, uh,
What is this?
this
Whoa,
Elric,
this is
dude. This is Titan Comics. Like I said, it's a French company, and you can get it in English, of course. Beautiful stuff, man. It's just a really beautiful artistic understanding of Elric. Because keep in mind that the early stuff that came out, and George was told, what was that guy's name, George, that did the real
Michael Moore.
flowery? No,
Craig P. Russell.
thank you. The super art, pastel art, very flowery type of thing, and I think that's what killed it in America. Was people was like, no, no, thank you, and of course the Europeans.
At that time, P. Craig Russell was very popular.
Well, I don't know,
Very,
dude, because it didn't take off in America very well. It really didn't. The Europeans kept this alive, man. But,
right.
but but my point is with this, I like all the renditions, to be honest with you. But this
Uh-huh.
Titan comic one, they knocked this out of the park, and the production value is amazing. I own these, right? It's just stunning, stunning, stunning. And of course, the Elric story has lasted so long because it's really good storytelling. And he's a very interesting character. But anyway, here's some of the old stuff. You can get at my point of the kind of our very colorful. Well, that's not a very good thing. It's very colorful pastel type of art, but it's cool though. But the new one is just knock you out, man. It's
Mhm.
so beautiful. Anyway, I've rambled because I'm excited. But what do you guys think?
Looks good
Yeah,
to me.
it's all right.
George.
I love the grandiose shots that the guy's using,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
really, I mean, I do this all the time, but those type of things like immerse me into the world and
Hmm.
make me believe.
Yep.
Like so I see too much art that just doesn't do this, and it's something even I have to learn to do. And you feel like you're the environment. If the environment's there, then you believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, whereas some of the earlier renditions are maybe not the kind of art everyone likes, I really feel it's very specific. This stuff, I think you can universally agree. All right, that's awesome. It's so well
Yeah.
done.
Look, people didn't like Magnola in the beginning
Yeah, yeah,
until he started doing Hellboy, and Hellboy kind of broke out. And but a lot of people, when they would put him on things like Superman or something, like,
mhm,
oh, why did they choose this guy?
yeah, yeah,
Because I don't know if people remember, he used to have a very normal style and wasn't always that way. Like he did
mhm,
a few issues of the Incredible Hulk after Jeff Purvis did some issues, and they were really different compared to the way he draws now. And I think it took. I think sometimes it takes a while for someone to grow on you. It's the same thing with Sean Gordon Murphy. When Gordon Murphy was doing that Vertigo stuff, American Vampire, whatever it was, I didn't like how he did noses. His noses used to just be like, like, oh, I can't look at this guy. But now he's changed his noses a little bit, but they're still very pointy.
mhm,
But man, it's the environment, it's the
mm,
all
yeah,
the little detail, all the how well he draws the Batcave. Uh, it's just incredible stuff. His
yeah.
long shots blow me away. So sometimes it takes a while for someone to grow on you.
Mhm.
You
Well, I
know.
mean, this cover, the book cover here, right here, this is a novelization, but the book cover here is a perfect example. It's overly colorful, it's very frou-frou type of thing. But if you look past it, it's really good, actually, right?
Hmm.
And that's kind of the early Elric stuff. And I think a lot of people maybe don't know that it has been redone, completely redrawn by Titan Comics. But anyway. I was very happy to see that news, and I want to talk about Elric. We've never talked about Elric here before, and it really is one of my favorite characters of all time as far as comic books go. And damn, they're making a TV show, dude. I just hope they don't screw it up, because the the problem we've seen with Hollywood in general, and I use Hollywood as a general cinematic endeavor, right? Um,
Hmm.
they can't get past their arrogance. And instead of like we saw Kathleen Kennedy the other day make a statement, right? And
Hmm.
because she's just been under fire for all the ridiculous stuff she's done. But she made a statement, and she was like, "Well, it's so much work. It's such an difficult thing to make Star Wars because there's no content for us to play off. There's no comic books. There's no books. There's nothing. It all has to be created by us." And it's like, I really want to take a 10-pound hammer to you, right? Because there is nothing but comic books and books. There's so many stories. There's so much lore. And it's just the arrogance of you who thinks that no one else can do it right. You have to make your own original thing. And then what do? You copy George Lucas, right? And this is the problem because Elric, as an example, has great stories. All you have to do is take that story and tell it. That's all you have to do, right? You don't have to change it. You don't have to put your twist. Just do the damn story, right? And but they probably won't. Some ass will come up and say, "I've got a brilliant idea. It's so much better than what Moorcock could have done." Really? Can you tell I'm frustrated? Just a little bit.
Yep.
Uh, but I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
No,
they,
it was silly. There's no content. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
All the extended universe that they can pull from,
yeah,
all the artwork, all the drawings, all the
right,
development,
yeah.
all
Game,
that,
role
dude.
playing
Just
games, video games.
role
How many
playing
damn
game,
Star
video
Wars
game.
video games are there,
Oh,
George?
video games. The video games themselves are forward thinking,
Yeah,
visual smorgasbord. I
I
mean, come
can't,
on.
I can't believe she made that statement, and she was serious, dude. She was straight up believed that, and it's like, oh
And
god,
she,
yeah,
and she said, another statement she made is, "Oh, George, likes what we did or something like that.
uh huh,
George is happy with what we've done." It's like, yeah,
yeah.
sure.
George has been
Uh,
memeing them, actually memeing them, and he's too old to even know what a meme is. Right? But yeah, that was a ridiculous statement from her, man. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. I was very happy to see this because I'm a big Elric fan, and as they pull it off, and because there needs to be a lot of emotion and a lot of trouble for Elric to do this right. And well, anyway, we'll see. Um, Damnation
Before
says,
you end it,
hmm
hey, before you end it, I just wanted to let people know that are Dale Keown fans
hmm
that he drew the latest issue of Avengers that came out today,
oh,
and he
nice.
hasn't
All right.
done any sequentials in a while since the Hulk the End
Yeah.
that they did about 2 years. So yeah, just letting people know.
That's cool. And I, of course, me personally, Todd, I always appreciate you coming on here because your comic book knowledge, as far as writers, artists, and all that stuff, is very impressive. And it makes up for my complete lack of knowing the name of anybody. hmm
Mm,
Yeah,
thank you.
which I know is disappointing to you. I'm sorry.
I'll expect a cup of coffee next time I'm in Japan.
All right. Hey, anytime, dude. Anytime. Several cups. But anyway, guys, thank you for coming in here today. We went a little bit over time, but it's all right. Do keep in mind that in 44 minutes, of course, you have the Drone and Quartered Pro Edition, and of course, our very own Howl Comics. Will Alan, of course, will be going over there and competing. And definitely go support Alan. He is a really, really proficient artist. He's got his own style. I mean, he's really just built out his own style, and he's impressive. And go support him over there, please. And of course, keep in mind that tomorrow we'll be doing our very own Ultimate Edition of the Drone Quartered. I'm not exactly sure what the theme is tomorrow, but we'll figure that out. Of course, I'm sure Pixel's already on it, our booster. But thank you guys for joining us today. We do appreciate it, and come back and for all the other stuff we do, and we really appreciate you guys being part of that. We had a lot of fun yesterday, actually, on Bugbear's Basement, where we had episode 11 of the Moonshade Isles D&D game, and yeah, yes, there he goes, there he goes. He's such a nerd hater. Todd hates nerds, man. He really
No,
does.
I
But
just love
no,
to
we
do
had a
it.
lot of fun. That was a great game, dude. We have a great story going on, Todd. And if you guys haven't checked that out, please come over and check it out because that's developing really nicely, actually. But anyway, thank you guys very much. And Todd, give me your closing comments, please.
Well, there's today's Wednesday, and Wednesday's New Comics Day.
Yep.
So go support your fandom, your
hmm
your geekdom, because there's some good stuff. There's not all bad. There's a lot
Oh
of
no.
good things that came this
Yeah.
week, and go look for it and find it because you're gonna like it. Don't get off of your superhero horse and try something different.
True. 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 George.
Ditto.
There you go, guys. Just a fount of information that is George. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. And, you know, I agree with Todd 100%. Definitely go over to your LCS. Is that what we call them now? The local comic
Yep.
book store? Yeah, I just kind of
hmm
call it brick and mortar. But definitely go over there and check out, see what they got. If you haven't been in a while, go back and check them out. I mean, because there are some good books coming out. It's not all trash. It really isn't. And they could use the support. And of course, keep reading comic books, man. Later.
Later.